The United Nations Refugee Agency is asking for $1 billion to help refugees who are fleeing the violence in Syria. The UN says more than 1 million Syrians could head into neighbouring countries during the first half of 2013. That is double the current number across the region in Jordan, Turkey, Iraq, North Africa and Lebanon. Mohamed Vall is at the Jalil refugee camp in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. And tell us about the conditions those there are having to endure at what is clearly a pretty cold time of year.
Sorry, David, can you repeat that question? There was some noise behind me.
Yeah, I say it looks pretty cold. How bad is it going to be for them if the weather worsens?
Yeah, David, it's very difficult condition here for these Palestinian refugees. In the last several months, we've been talking about Syrian refugees, but now we have Palestinian refugees coming from Syria after those clashes that took place in Yarmouk camp in Damascus. Actually, the Lebanese authorities have already registered about 2,000 of those refugees coming from the Yarmouk camp. Very difficult conditions, as you mentioned, the cold and also the lack of shelter, because the Lebanese authorities did not want to create a new camp for them. And they have just to fend off themselves, or they have to be hosted by families here inside Lebanon. We are now in a refugee camp in the Bekaa Valley. It's a small refugee camp already crowded with Palestinians, and yet we have already 550 families who came to this camp alone. And people here have a problem handling this situation. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees has only just today started to distribute some help, some aid, some blankets, some kitchen ware to these people. But people here are telling us this is far from enough and they need more to help these Palestinians.
Possibly, Mohamed, it's not reflective of the treatment of refugees on the whole in other countries as well. But give me the position of the Lebanese government when it comes to those who've come in from Syria. Are they prepared to help? Are they welcoming them?
Well, apparently they are not against the idea of having more of the Palestinian refugees. We've been today to one of the border crossings, and people finally get to Lebanon. They have difficulties. They have to pay some money in order. Each individual has to pay $17 to get inside. They have to have a stamp already on their passports or on their papers by the Syrian authorities. Those who did not have the approval of the Syrian authorities to get into Lebanon, they cannot get into Lebanon. So that's already a problem. Lebanon has been complaining that it cannot handle the problem of the Palestinian refugees, or even the Syrian refugees for that matter, and they have been asking for funds from the UN and from other organizations to help them do this. So if that help doesn't come, probably they will have a problem. You remember, Lebanon has already a lot of Palestinian refugees, actually hundreds of thousands of them already here. They have been here since 3 decades now, and the last thing they need to see is more refugee camps being built inside Lebanon for the Palestinians.
Mohamed, thank you very much indeed. Mohamed Vall there in the Bekaa Valley, close to the Syrian border.